Could we keep some? Or is that negotiable?
It's a negotiable item. There's in the contract a staffing ratio. You either follow the staffing ratio or you eliminate all of them.
And my next question is, why do we need to do this today? What's the significance of May 15th? And because we do this today, does that mean that we cannot make changes to what we've agreed to today?
If you don't go forward with it tonight, then the district won't be able to meet the May 15th deadline. We have to have notification out by May 14th, and those notices.
And for those who don't know what May 14th and May 15th is, could you explain that?
Those are statutory deadlines in education code that if you're going to lay off a certificated individual, they need to be noticed by May 14th. So we need to have those notices out. So there would be no time this year to make any elimination. So if you were to pull the nurses from the resolution, then the nurses would be brought back and you would not be able to reduce them until the following school year if you choose to do that.
Now, we notify them today or by the May 15th date. Does that mean we cannot somehow miraculously we find a pot of gold? Can we bring anybody back?
Yes, we can always rescind.
Now, my comment is, I hope that the audience recognizes that not one board member wants to make any of these reductions. We realize that there are people and programs that are going to have a direct effect on our students as a result of these reductions. I myself have a 6th grader who will be affected by many of these reductions. A young man spoke and indicated that the counselors motivate their students to try and take harder classes. I agree, they do, because I also have a senior who probably would be taking some of the classes he's taking if it wasn't for his counselor. I'm embarrassed to say I didn't motivate him to take those classes, his counselor did. Yesterday a comment was made that other districts are not making reductions the way that we are. And at the same meeting yesterday, a gentleman stood up and said that in his district, employees took 6 furlough days the first year, and 9 furlough days for the following year in order not to make the cuts. At a previous meeting, another gentleman stood up and spoke and said that their employees took a reduction in pay in order not to make the cuts. We can't do this by ourselves. We don't want to make any of these reductions. I don't want my child to be affected, just like all of you don't want your children to be affected. This is all about the children. And so I hope at some point that we can come together and make the necessary adjustments to keep every single position that is being touched on tonight. And that will conclude my comments.
Thank you, Mrs. Roscoe. Mr. Bell?
I have a question with Ms. Miller. I have spoken with our adult school teacher for a few hours 2 days ago. And yesterday, Riverside Unified School District laid off 150 teachers. Do you know if their layoffs had impacted their adult school program?
I'm sorry to say I do not know that.
Oh, you don't know? Okay.
Sorry.
Later, if you could find out.
We could look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
If you know other lights, thank you, fellow board members, for making your comments that you have. You said a lot of things I would like to say, so thank you for saying those. I'd just like to add that I said last night and I feel the same way tonight. I agree with most of the comments that have been made. Most of the concerns that have been expressed, I share those. As Mr. Black said a few minutes ago, we have some time constraints. We have time deadlines that we have to meet. For the past several years, we have issued pink slips to several people, and a lot of them have been rehired before the year began. It isn't a game we're playing, but we have to do what the rules say we have to do. So it's a matter of following the constraints we have. So I thank you for understanding that. All in favor of this motion?
Aye.
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 Opposed?
Thanks.
Motion carried 3-1. That concludes the action items on this evening's business, and I'll adjourn the special meeting of the Board of Education at 5:52 p.m. Thank you all.